This is the fourth video from the percentages module, and this time we're looking at harder percentages where you need to work in reverse, and it's helpful to use equations to do these. So in this particular question, we know that after GST is added, a chocolate bar costs $2.95. What was the pre-GST price? You can see that previous to this we've looked at questions where we've had to add on the GST, but this has already got the GST added on, so we need to sort of work backwards to get the pre-GST price. So we know that the chocolate bar is like 100% of the selling price. And then on top of that, there was 10% GST added. So in actual fact, this price that we've got here of $2.95 represents 110% of the selling price, the original selling price before GST. So what we can do is we can say that 110% of the selling price before GST is equal to $2.95. Then we can say 110% as a decimal is going to be 1.1. Of means times, and I'm going to abbreviate selling price to SP, is equal to 2.95. So that means that the selling price is equal to 2.95 divided by 1.1. Now just a little reminder, or maybe it's not a reminder, about equations. If you're multiplying by 1.1 on this side and you need to get rid of that, you need to do the opposite, which is dividing both sides by 1.1. So when you divide the left-hand side by 1.1, it disappears, it cancels out because they're opposite operations, and it reappears as division on the other. So that means that the selling price, and we will need to do a bit of rounding here, comes out at $2.68. Second question, at a 15% off sale, Yasmin obtained a discount of $8.50 on a jacket. What was the marked price and the discounted price? Okay, so all we know is that she got a discount of $8.50 and that was equivalent to 15%. So let's write that in a sentence, a mathematical sentence. So that means that 15% of the marked price corresponds or equals $8.50. So tidying this up, 0.15 is the decimal equivalent to 15% of means times, and I didn't write the word price there, so let's write that as MP is equal to $8.50. So the marked price is $8.50 divided by 0.15. Now, just to recall, if on this side we're multiplying by 0.15, we think about the opposite, which is dividing by 0.15, and it cancels out on the left-hand side, and it's divide by on the right-hand side. So our marked price is equal to $56.67. So then to obtain our discounted price, because that's only the marked price, so the discounted price must be our marked price, which is $56.67, subtract our discount, which we already know is $8.50, so that must come out at $48.17. which is a strange amount, but that's the way the maths worked out. Question 3, 17% of a class of students were absent and 22 were present. How many students in the class? Okay. We know that if 17% of a class were absent, so 17% absent leads to the conclusion that 100 minus 17%, which is 83%, were present. Now, that means that 83% of the class, or number of students in the class, is equal to 22. So that means that the number, that means 0.83 times by the number of students in the class is equal to 22. So the number of people in the class must be 22 divided by 0.83. And doing that on a calculator, 22 divided by 0.83 comes out at 26.506. Now this is a big problem because we've got half a student. So it's quite difficult to answer this. We can't answer it to half a student. So we'd have to answer this as it would be either 26 or 27 students. Whoever gave us the original information may have been a little bit sort of rough in the information that they've given us. So here we just can't make an absolute conclusion. So you need to just answer it's either 26 or 27 students. And the last question, a woman spends 85% of her pay and saves $72. What is her weekly pay? Okay, so if that's what she spends, the amount that she saves must be 100% minus the 85% that she spends, which is 15%. So 15% of her weekly pay must be $72. So 0.15 times by her pay is 72. So her pay must be 72 divided by 0.15. So her pay must be, on a calculator, 72 divided by 0.15 must be $480.